Netflix buried a Knives Out theatrical franchise deal that would have changed everything. And the reason they killed it is something they never wanted you to know. In 2021, Rian Johnson walked away from the biggest decision of his career with a check for $469 million. And you were never supposed to understand what he gave up to cash it. There was another deal on the table. A different version of Knives Out's future, one that kept Benoit Blanc in theaters, that built the franchise the way Bond gets built. That would have given cinemas something original they haven't had in 20 years. Netflix made sure that version never existed. And the reason why is worse than you think. Go back to November 2019. Knives Out opens to $311 million worldwide against a $40 million budget. Rian Johnson, the director Lucasfilm had already frozen out after The Last Jedi backlash, had just proved something dangerous. He didn't need a franchise. He could build one from scratch. A wholly original detective story, no IP, no cinematic universe safety net, and it outperformed most Marvel sequels that year. Lionsgate, who distributed the film, immediately began sequel talks. Benoit Blanc was designed explicitly as a recurring character, new mystery each time, rotating all-star cast, same brilliant mind at the center. Johnson and his producing partner Ram Bergman controlled those sequel rights entirely. They had leverage nobody expected, and Hollywood came calling with numbers nobody had seen attached to a property that hadn't earned a single sequel yet. By early 2021, 3 serious buyers were locked in a bidding war. Lionsgate was in. Apple TV Plus was deep in negotiations, reportedly at $400 million for 2 films, with a deal structure that included something crucial. Genuine wide theatrical distribution, real windows, a major studio partner to put Knives Out 2 and 3 in every multiplex in America. And then Netflix entered at $469 million. $469 million for 2 films that hadn't been written yet. From a filmmaker whose last studio job had generated franchise controversy. That number is not a negotiation, it's a termination. The deal closed in March 2021. Johnson and Bergman signed. Netflix announced it globally. The trades called it a landmark moment for streaming. What they didn't report, what got buried underneath the spectacle of the dollar figure, was what the Apple deal had contained that Netflix's didn't. A theatrical life, 45-day exclusive runs. Real tickets, real opening weekends. Netflix had a different model, always has. Their internal math on theatrical is brutally straightforward. Every day a film plays in a cinema is a day it isn't converting a new subscriber. Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, was given exactly 1 week in theaters in November 2022. 1 week. AMC refused to screen it. Regal refused. Cinemark refused. The standard exclusivity window that studios and exhibitors had maintained for decades, 45 to 90 days minimum, was something Netflix wouldn't offer. Theater chains said publicly that a 7-day window wasn't a theatrical release, it was a press event. They were right. Glass Onion vanished from screens before most audiences realized it had arrived. It landed on Netflix in December and became one of the most watched films in the platform's history. Netflix called that a win. It was, for them, here's the thing they don't want you to put together. Knives Out's theatrical future wasn't killed because the franchise was weak. It was killed because the franchise was too strong. When a film earns $311 million in theaters on a $40 million investment, it proves exactly one thing. People will leave their houses for it. They will pay for a ticket. They'll bring 3 friends. That kind of cultural gravity, the kind where everyone has seen the same movie and needs to argue about the ending, is precisely what Netflix cannot allow to exist outside their walls. Because if Knives Out 2 had opened wide and grossed $450 million at the box office, it would have proved something catastrophic for the streaming business model. It would have proved the model is a cage. Remember that signed deal? Here's exactly where it died. The $469 million wasn't just payment for 2 films. It was payment to suppress the evidence. Apple's offer would have let Knives Out become the theatrical franchise of the 2020s. The smart, star-driven, wholly original answer to superhero fatigue that critics and audiences were openly asking for. Netflix paid nearly $500 million not just to own the movies, but to make sure that proof of concept never reached a multiplex. Not content, control. Think about what a theatrical Knives Out franchise looks like today in the version that never happened. 3 films in, a 4th announced, Benoit Blanc as culturally embedded as James Bond, funnier, stranger, more surprising. Original IP proving Hollywood doesn't need another extended universe to fill seats. Every director with a great idea watching Glass Onion disappear behind a paywall had to recalibrate what success actually means now that Netflix writes the definition. If they could bury this franchise, they can bury anything. The checkbook says so. The question nobody in Hollywood will answer out loud is simple. Which franchise did they buy next, and what theatrical future did that deal quietly erase? Because Netflix wasn't finished in 2021, and neither was Apple.